Hello, I'm Jason Stevenson and welcome to today's Tiny Daily Kick. Now, let me start off by asking you a question. When was the last time that you sat in silence? And I mean complete silence, so no TV, no phone, no background chatter, no to-do list whispering in your ear. Now, if you really had to think about it, it might have been a while, right? So today's kick is the gift of silence. Now, the truth is, silence makes most of us squirm. We've been trained to fill every gap. There's so much constantly going on. If we're not listening to music, we've got podcasts. Hello. If we're not on a call, we're scrolling. Even when we sit down to rest, there's a show sometimes playing in the background, whether that be the radio or the TV. And why is that? Well, because silence can feel like, well, it can feel too much. Sometimes too confronting, maybe too boring. We just need to fill our minds. In the stillness, our thoughts have room to speak, and sometimes we'd rather keep those thoughts drowned out. But here's the paradox. The very thing that we avoid, the quiet time, is often the exact medicine that we need. And silence is not empty by any means. It's full of answers we're usually too distracted to hear. Silence, I've realized, it isn't the absence of sound. It's actually the presence of clarity. When I stop filling every gap with noise, I start to notice what's been waiting quietly underneath. It's less about switching off and more about tuning in. And the beautiful part is, silence doesn't demand perfection. You don't need a cabin in the woods, or you don't need to go on a monastery retreat. You just need a willingness to pause for a few minutes and notice what happens when you stop filling the air with sounds. So how can you bring silence into your day without feeling like that you're doing some sort of meditation exam? Well, here's a couple of simple ways. First one is micro pauses. Next time you park the car, or wherever you are for that matter, just sit for 1 full minute before you grab your bag and rush out. So take that moment to breathe, notice the quiet. That's it. Number 2, silent mornings. Start your day with 5 minutes of no screens, no audio, no noise. Maybe just a cup of tea, a coffee, and stillness. Or you can even do it before you have the cup of tea or coffee, just stillness. I like to sit with a cup of tea as the sun comes up on my decking and just be still. And I love those times. You might be surprised how it sets the tone of the day for everything that follows. And silence doesn't need to be hours long to be powerful. Even small pockets of silence, that can soften the body and mind. I remember the first time I really noticed silence, and I had an extended period of silence. It was years ago on a meditation retreat. Now, I have to tell you, this was a strict monastic retreat. We had 10 days of silence, and I'm going to tell you, the first few days, I hated it. I could not handle it. So there were no phones, no talking, no music, and for so many hours a day and no communication, my brain was like, Jason, we're in trouble. Someone say something quick. I felt this anger surfacing. I wondered what on earth I'd got myself into. But then somewhere around day 2 or 3, something began to shift. I began hearing things I'd never noticed before. I heard the wind going through the trees. When I walked, I began to hear the crunching of the ground underneath my feet. Even while I was waiting in lines, I remember just hearing my own breathing. The silence wasn't empty. It was actually alive. And it became the friend that I didn't know I needed. And I've carried that gift of silence back into my daily life ever since. Here's your challenge today. Carve out just 3 minutes of silence. That's it. Put the phone on airplane mode, turn off music, and just be. And if your mind races, which it probably will, let it. Just allow it. Just observe it. If the dog snores in the background, don't try and silence it. Let that be your soundtrack. No judgment, no pressure. Just see what happens when you stop filling the space. Silence, it isn't a void, it's actually a gift. And it's a gift that costs us nothing, and it lets you meet yourself again, even if just for a few moments. If you've been enjoying these tiny daily kicks, don't forget to follow and share the podcast so others can join us too. And if you feel like supporting me, there's a little support button. Think of it like buying me a coffee each month. That helps me keep creating these and inspires me, and I'm really grateful. I'd also like to take this time to shout out to my active followers: Cynthia Silverman, Jackie, Rebecca, Paula, Vidonna, Barb Smith. Thank you very much for your monthly contributions. Until next time, I'm Jason Stevenson. Imagine boldly, then go out and live it.